Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny 2. This morning Bungie dropped their worldwide reveal trailer for the game and it's absolutely epic. It was full of feels, chills, and laughs. Exactly what I want out of a Destiny game. Now there's a lot of little details hidden throughout this trailer, so in proper fashion I only found it appropriate to break it down scene by scene. So of course, with this being the first major glimpse into Destiny 2, there could be some things that I'm missing, so let me know in the comments below if you catch something, and we'll continue the conversation down there. But anyways, the trailer starts with an establishing shot of the city in ruins, and here's the first place that I want to stop. And we'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is what is going on with the Traveler. It's glowing orange, it looks like it has some kind of force field on it. My thoughts are that this is either a shield put on the Traveler by the Cabal, or it's us trying to heal the Traveler after it took a lot more damage. I'm thinking it's the Cabal blocking the Traveler's light. It starts to make more sense once you read the synopsis for the game. Humanity's last safe city has fallen to an overwhelming invasion force led by Gaul, the imposing commander of the brutal Red Legion. He has stripped the city's guardians of their power and forced the survivors to flee. So at the very least, I think this means that we have been stripped of our subclasses. I think part of the campaign will focus on us needing to go to unexplored worlds to re-attain new subclasses, kind of like how we got our third subclass in the Taken King. And this could be a good explanation if they decide to retool and redesign the subclasses. Aside from that, it'll at the very least be the explanation as to why we're going to be losing our progress. Moving on to other things in this shot, we see a broken section of the wall on the left-hand side. So first we get the wall to the Cosmodrome breached, and now we're getting the wall to the last city breached, so we might want to invest in some better wall building methods. But anyways, what good is a wall if you have giant Cabal ships that can easily just find their way right over your city? Now we're going to get a more detailed shot of these ships later on in the trailer, but they are the ships that belong to the Cabal Red Legion. Anyways, as the ships do make their way towards the Traveler, we can see that they're still very much in the middle of battle. There are a lot of different buildings on fire, and there's a lot of smoke everywhere.
But we are Earth's greatest hope. Look around you.
This is the next place I wanted to stop at, and you see Commander Zavala giving a speech. Here we're set outside of the city, as you can see the Traveler and the broken wall in the background. We also see a ruined tower. Here we actually get a better shot of what's going on with the Traveler. It does look like the light is being blocked somehow, and maybe the Traveler is trying to fight through it. But the most interesting thing in this shot is actually Lord Shaxx himself down there behind Commander Zavala. There are also guardians of many different factions shown throughout this trailer, and one especially you can see in the very left-hand side of the screen, which shows an Exo without his helmet brandishing some Queen's Wrath gear. In fact, you're going to be seeing a lot of Queen's Wrath gear throughout this trailer, so it's very interesting to see why. But anyways, it's very curious that they're this far away from the city. It's possible that they had to retreat or they simply got separated from Cayde and Ikora Rey. I'll be very interested to see where exactly the start point of the Destiny 2 campaign is. Is it going to be during this battle or sometime after?
A gathering of noble guardians new and old.
Okay, listen up.
And here we see Cayde 6 and Ikora Rey standing in the middle of the city. So perhaps we'll get some missions between Commander Zavala and Cayde, which will have us going back and forth to the outskirts and the middle of the city. But of course this might not mean anything at all, and it might just be for comedic effect in this trailer. I don't want to read too much into it. But the main thing I wanted to point out in this shot is the Suros shotgun that is on the back of the Guardian on the left. I mentioned this before when we got the leaked poster, but it looks like the weapon foundries from Destiny 1 will be making their way into Destiny 2. And if they do, I really hope they expand on those foundries and give us a lot more. They're probably holding back in the trailer because of spoilers.
You're a bunch of dirty misfits.
Here in this shot we see the two Guardians that Cayde is talking to, but the interesting thing about this is that they're both wearing Queen's Wrath gear. You can see the Queen's Wrath icon all over their gear. I don't think this is a mistake, and I think the Queen is going to be playing a much larger role in Destiny 2, as it's been hinted at in the Grimoire. The Grimoire tells us that both Mara Sov and Prince Uldren are both alive and well, so we'll have to wait and see how they play into the campaign.
But you're all that's left, so you'll have to do.
Our home was attacked.
Here is that first explosion. We saw this already in the teaser, but it shows us where perhaps the whole attack began. This of course is the giant table in the middle of the Hall of Guardians where the mentors currently are. It looks like the Cabal wanted to take us by surprise, and they definitely achieved that. So here we get a great shot at a couple of the new enemy types. First we have in the foreground what looks like the phalanxes from before, however perhaps in the Red Legion they have a different kind of shield. So it looks like their shields are initially compact so they can walk around easier and perhaps shield bash you a little bit better, and then it looks like they can expand the shield and set it down for better protection. Next in the background we see the dual wielding blades of a new enemy type called the Cleavers, and it looks like these guys are going to be much more brutish and aggressive, going for melee hits. Here we see another shot of that same phalanx with the shield compacted, and Zavala is just straight up going at him with the back of his rifle. Pretty epic looking. I'm very curious to see why this one phalanx is giving all three of our mentors such a hard time. Now, watching this trailer over and over again, it got me realizing that there's a curious absence of scions here in this trailer. If you know of any significance to that from the Grimoire, let me know in the comments below. But maybe it's something as simple as there's no scions belonging in the Red Legion.
Against the endless onslaught.
And here I just wanted to show that you see Cade being knocked back by that phalanx shield that is in compact mode. So there may be some significance to that as far as gameplay goes. It looks like it's that way so they're more aggressive when you get close to them, but it also opens them up to weakness since their shield is not as big.
They kept coming.
And here we see Ikora Rey finishing off one of the phalanxes with a Thunder Strike. Now, I mentioned this earlier in the video, but as far as subclasses go, there were some rumors that all of the subclasses are being completely reimagined with new supers and new abilities, but of course this is right in the beginning of the attack, and the Light of the Traveler is still fully intact. That's why she can do a Thunder Strike. At least that would be the case if we're subscribing to the notion that the block to the Traveler's Light would be impairing our subclasses.
So I kept firing. Not gonna lie, I was mad.
And here, just for completion's sake, I did want to point out that Ikora Rey is using a Vanguard shotgun, Kate 6 is using the Ace of Spades, or something similar. As you know, we do have another gun that looks almost exactly like this, called the Hard Luck, which is a rare quality hand cannon, but I really do think it is the Ace of Spades, as we're looking at Kate 6, who is one of our mentors. But then, of course, we have a Vanguard auto rifle being used by Commander Zavala. I think this just shows that Kate 6 is more of an outlier and a renegade, using whatever weapon he wants and fan firing to boot.
Magnificent.
Despite the sacrifice of many brave guardians.
Here we have a shot of Ikora Rey shooting aliens in the face and perhaps noticing something off screen. And on closer inspection, it actually looks a lot more different than any other shotgun we've seen in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first set of Vanguard weapons that'll be available to us. Otherwise, we can see Ikora Rey fighting in the city while all hell is breaking loose.
We lost everything.
And here we get a much better shot of that Red Legion Bruiser or Cleaver. I'm not sure which one will exactly be the name. I think they've been referred to as both. But either way, it looks like these will be the sort of ogres of the Cabal race, and you'll probably need a few members of your fire team to focus fire and take him down.
The tower.
Now, this is probably my favorite part of the trailer, and that is a completely different enemy type. Every single enemy type in Destiny thus far has been bipedal, standing up. And so while they might have different abilities and weapons, they're either walking around or running at you, and it's all pretty much the same. You have to go for probably a headshot. And this sort of beast type enemy is very different. I think they will behave by being, of course, on all fours and running at you, but the giant horn on their head makes me think that's not their crit spot, but perhaps in their stomach, so you'll have to wait to the absolute last moment until they're leaping into you to open fire. But aside from that, it looks like their claws, their helmet, and their chin are outfitted with metal pieces, so it looks like the Cabal have sort of militarized these animals. And here we get another shot of the tower being brutally attacked, so it looks like the Cabal have been gathering intelligence somehow and knew exactly where to strike. This is very curious as the Cabal have never really been close to the city, so I'm not sure exactly how they know what the tower even is. This leads me to believe that there might be a subplot somewhere of perhaps a traitor amongst us.
Our home.
So, everything is gone. Your stuff.
And here's the sort of cheeky part of the trailer that tries to explain why we're not going to carry our inventories into Destiny 2, as we see this weapons cache being blown up. But aside from that, this is where I'm going to read way too much into this shot, And on the right side in the center, we have a very curious looking set of weapons. They don't have the silhouette of anything I've ever seen. They're sort of close to the machine guns, but not quite as long. I think these might actually be grenade launchers, and they might have been accidentally just showing us a new weapon type. But of course, this is a handcrafted CG trailer, and nothing is by accident, so this just might be a little Easter egg for us to find.
My stuff. Most importantly, my stuff.
Today we know.
And here we get a great shot at the Red Legion ships. We also see Guardians engaging into smaller Cabal dropships, so here's hoping that we finally get some space battles. We do have some rumors that might actually be unfounded that tell us that our ships are going to be much more than just loading screens in the next game, so we'll just have to wait and see.
His name is
Gary or Gil. Glenn? Is it? I don't know. It's something with a G.
Go.
And here is Commander Gary himself, the birth of a meme, and raid boss confirmed. A lot of people around the web are starting to speculate that Gaul is going to be our raid boss for the first Cabal raid, which will be the launch raid with the game. It makes a lot of sense if you copy-paste the template that they used for the Taken King, which is to fight him at the very end, only to have him retreat back somewhere where we can't find him, and then of course you put together your raid team and go get him. I have to say I really like this idea, and I really want to see a raid final battle in the tower.
I know you look to me in times of peril.
Here we see citizens of the last city surviving the attack, at least for now, so we can kind of see that there's a lot of devastation down here in the city, and probably a lot of people died, which is very unfortunate. So this of course raises the question that since the tower isn't going to be a social hub, and it doesn't look like the city is going to be a social hub because it's still currently under attack, where is going to be our social hub? We have the reef, of course, we could be going back there. That could be where they bring in the story with the Queen. But maybe it's something as simple as us retreating to just a different part of Earth. But the other thing to consider is that Destiny 2 is going to be a much larger game than Destiny 1, both in, of course, scale, but also scope. So this concept of 1 or 2 social spaces might be something of the past. We might have more dynamic social spaces that are already integrated into our destinations, making them much more seamless and natural. And that would honestly make interacting with NPCs and merchants much more organic.
But this is not my battle alone.
Which means if I don't see you out there, I'll kill you myself.
It is time to avenge this injustice.
Here we get a great shot of a Guardian helping a couple of citizens, and this is definitely one of my favorite shots in the trailer. I hope we get a much clearer, crisper picture of this. And here we see that Titan and the citizen helping a hunter from underneath the rubble.
That is the duty of all Guardians.
And here in this shot we get a pretty good glimpse at some new armor. We see what looks like a brand new Crucible set. At first I thought this was New Monarchy, and it very well could still be, but we see the crossing swords of the Crucible on his right wrist. He also has blades coming from underneath his elbows and a pretty cool looking helmet. Overall, I really want this set of armor. Also, the weapon he's holding looks pretty awesome as well. It is a Amalon auto rifle from what I can tell, very reminiscent of Hardlight but with a longer stock.
Worst case scenario, you die. But who knows? Maybe you won't.
So I ask you, who will stand with me?
Yeah! Really, guys?
That was inspiring.
Also, there will be a ton of loot! Yeah, right? That's what I thought.
And there is of course the line that I almost cheered out loud for, which is that there will be a lot of loot.
Pre-order and get beta early access.
And coming off of that last shot, I have to say the music is so good. It gave me straight up chills the first time I watched this trailer. I cannot wait for this game. I just know it's going to be so good. It's going to be everything that we wanted out of Destiny 1 and then some. Luke Smith was sort of revealed to be the director of the game, no real surprise there, and it looks like he's very proud of what he's created. But anyways, aside from that, what we're actually paused on here is that with a pre-order, you can get early access to the beta. There's a good chance we'll have a couple different betas back to back, with the first beta being exclusive to those who pre-order, and then the second beta being an open one. But anyways, that brings us to the end of the worldwide reveal trailer for Destiny 2. We're going to be getting our first gameplay reveal stream on May 18th. That is less than 2 months away, and I cannot wait. The hype is super real, my dudes and dudettes. And of course, you can expect much more Destiny 2 coverage as the information becomes available right here on the channel. So be sure to subscribe to stay caught up on Destiny 2. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway for Destiny 2. I have 2 copies of the Legendary Edition, one on PS4 and one on Xbox. I don't have the details of the giveaway yet, but stay tuned and also follow me at FutureFoe so you don't miss out. Otherwise, drop a like if you enjoyed this video and be sure to let me know in the comments below if I missed any little details so we can continue that conversation. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Also from the trailer, we got a confirmation of the game coming to PC in addition to PS4 and Xbox One with a September 8th release date. And immediately as the trailer went live, so did the Destiny 2 Buy Now page.